Good morning, friends, and happy Tuesday, May 19th, 2020. Yesterday, we had Find What's Missing Monday, and again, my printer is having issues, so I had to adjust. So here were the problems from, here are the problems from yesterday. In our green column, the blanks are underlined in blue. Here's our blue column, the blanks, or what was missing, underlined in red. And finally, our red column, the ones that were missing, underlined in green. So again, go ahead and pause the video. Check your work, circling any that were incorrect so that we can come back to it and make sure we know what we're doing before we move on. Again, if you are having trouble on any of these particular number talks, please have your parents schedule a one-on-one with me and we can review it. And I can show you how to use the material so you can solve these problems independently and feel more confident in your number talking ability. All right, now I'm just going to erase this quickly. For Tuesday, we have more of those word problems. So let me just do one example. Let's say, for instance, I was making lunches, and in each lunch, I put 2 cheese sticks, and I made 4 lunches. I'm going to put 2 cheese sticks in each lunch. How many cheese sticks will there be in all? Well, I could set this up a number of ways. One of the easiest ways would be to draw each of those lunch bags. I said I was going to pack 4 of them, and each one was going to get 2 cheese sticks, remember? So 1 cheese stick, 2 cheese stick, 1 cheese stick, 2 cheese stick, 1 cheese stick, 2 cheese stick, 1 cheese stick, 2 cheese stick. So now each of my bags has 2 cheese sticks. How many were there in all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know that the answer is 8 cheese sticks. I could have set this up a couple ways. I see a snake game problem here. Could have been 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Ooh, same thing. I also see I'm adding the same number over and over again. And remember, multiplication is repeated addition. So here we have the number 2. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And what do you know? All 3 of these methods get us the same answer. So on Tuesday, with your number talk, go ahead and do the one that feels most natural for you. If you're still at this stage where you're drawing pictures of them, go ahead and do so. If you want to do some practice of your extended snake game style addition, or if you're practicing your multiplication facts, you can record it in these different ways. Now, on the story problems, I have recorded an answer, and if it is the correct answer, say true. If it's not correct, you say false, and then you rewrite the proper answer. So give that a try, and yeah, that'll be a nice, challenging number talk for you. All right. Now yesterday, if you recall, I read to you a story about Confucius. And Confucius was an honest individual. So honest that we are still talking and learning about and from Confucius thousands of years later. So, just like our story elements, remember we always want to review who are our characters and where is the story taking place. Every story, no matter what. So, first question of today. Who is our main character? Pretty straightforward answer. And what do we know about them? Ooh, that gets a bit more complex. So I want you to think about who the main character is, and then what are some of the things you learned about that character? They could be physical traits. It could be qualities of greatness that we admire. It could be anything you remember from the story. But what do we already know about that main character? Go ahead and record that if you are a writer, if you are one of the students who's dictating and conversing with your parents about this, do that as well. But always try to use complete sentences or complete thoughts. Don't just say, Bob, hungry, nice, dedicated. Instead say, the main character is Bob. At the beginning, Bob was hungry. We learned that Bob was dedicated as we saw Bob make a lunch for himself for every day of the week. Complete thoughts makes your answer, it gives it context so the listener knows what they're hearing or reading. All right, and our second story element is what is the setting? Where is this story taking place? When is it taking place? If you remember from the very beginning of the story, Sage, the name of Confucius's inner voice or true voice, answers a lot of these questions because Sage asks who, what, when, where, why. Sage is like the story element true voice. In that opening, Sage describes where and when the story takes place or the setting. So go ahead and find that. All right, and for this week, if you recall, we're shifting from who am I to where am I's. And so yesterday, the clue was this biome receives less than 10 inches of rain a year. Often, these biomes are covered with sand and are hot and dry. However, there are also cold versions, which we call tundras. Most plants in this biome are called succulents, and they can store water for long periods of time. If you said the desert, you are correct. And here I have a picture of each of our different ones. Here we have probably the desert that you think of. It comes to mind when you hear that word. Sandy, dry, sunny. But also, deserts can look like this because a desert is defined by how much rainfall it has. And so even up here, this tundra has very little rainfall each year, and the plants still need to hold on to much of their moisture. And those plants are called succulents. One of my favorite plants. I know a lot of you like them as well. All right, another clue. This biome is covered with grass and shrubs. There are temperate and tropical versions. The temperate versions include prairies, like prairie winds, plains, and meadows. Tropical ones are called savannas. There is also very little rainfall in this biome, and natural fires often occur. The few trees that are found in this biome die, but the grass survives. Tune in tomorrow to find out where in the world we are, review our first few story elements, get into the next ones, and then review those number talks. Have a great Tuesday. I'll see you at the community meeting, and know that you're awesome. I know you're working hard. We're all working hard. Do your best today. If you make a mistake, it's okay. We all make mistakes. Forgive yourself. Oftentimes we are the hardest on our own self. We give other people breaks. We give them the benefit of the doubt. But when we look at ourselves, we hold ourselves to such a high standard that if we can't meet that standard, we get so upset and so down on ourselves, and it lowers us even further. So give yourself the benefit of the doubt. You're doing your best. You're working your hardest. I know you are, and you know when you're working your hardest. When you are honest with yourself and honestly reflect. So do your best. Give yourself a benefit of the doubt. And have a great Tuesday, friends.